Hey y'all, it is your favorite nerdy girl here, Nerdy Girl Review, and we are back with another spooktacular special. And here we're rounding out and we're celebrating Halloween weekend with Vampire Galore. Yes, y'all, I'm gonna do a few quick reviews on some of my favorites, and I recommend if you want to binge anything this weekend for the Halloween holiday, then stay tuned. Again, if you follow me on YouTube, you can see all my other recaps here, as well as sofritoforyoursoul.com. If you're watching this on Instagram, click that link in bio and stay tuned, y'all. Let's get into all the meaty vampire galore. Now, since we're closing out our spectacular season and special, I just came back from a Halloween party with my bag of treats and, of course, my jack-o'-lantern. So tonight's snack, to accompany our nice review, we have some Reese's Pieces. We have the famous Blow Pop. I mean, if you didn't have this as a kid, you missed out, because this was ideal. This was available to any candy shop, bodega, deli, wherever you were at and you find yourself at a convenience store, the Blow Pop was king, okay? Because you wanted that center bubble gum. And cherry was always favorite. This is, yeah, Charms cherry. Oh, can't be without the milk duds. And check out the nails too. These were from 5 and below, but I thought they were stellar, honey. I'm gonna rock these for a good week. Trust and believe. Reese's Pieces. What else we got here? Whoppers. I mean, available at any concession stand. Kit Kats. More Blow Pops. Let's see what else we got here. No, Reese's Pieces. Ooh, yes. I was able to get these Lindt, I think, specialty chocolates. That velvety chocolate, honey. I'm gonna indulge tomorrow. And they have like these really cute themes with the little ghosts, if you can see. And I got the one with the little jack-o'-lantern face too. So adorable. Again, I know it's a kid's holiday, but we don't care as adults. We're gonna have our parties. We're gonna have our chocolates. We're gonna have our Blow Pops. So, now that we have a full-rounded jack-o'-lantern trick-or-treat time, y'all, let's sink our teeth into these reviews. Now, if the music you're listening to sounds familiar, yes, it is Paramore with Decode, which was on the soundtrack for the very first Twilight, 2008. Now, I think it's great for kiddies. I never necessarily understood it, if you want me to be perfectly honest. I know it was a big craze. I even bought the book. I've only bought the first book. But for me to have really invested in the story, I didn't understand it. How are you vampires but you have no fangs? Like, wouldn't that make it 10 times harder to like feast? To like prey on your victim? Straight up teeth? You know, the way that I don't know. But the only good outcome that we got from Twilight, which, let me give you a quick synopsis if you haven't. Twilight is a 2008 American romantic fantasy film based on Stephanie Meyer's 2005 novel of the same name, directed by Catherine Hardwicke. The film stars Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson, and again, we have those great you know, add-ons. Twilight was theatrically released. Yeah. It's a, you know, very teen-friendly film. You know, if you want to see it, and I know it goes into several sagas, so I didn't see past, I think, the second. So there's a lot there. But the one thing I will say that I'm grateful for it was the soundtrack, and including this song. I thought this song was really chilling, and like something about the lyrics just kind of stops me in my tracks. So give it a listen. I don't know if necessarily is it like super featured into the film, but the soundtrack for that song. Anyway, I'm a big Paramore fan, so anyway, on to the next.
I can warm that cold skin of yours better than she can.
You think so?
You're warm now.
The price is high. Your pretty friend, I exhausted her. Soft. So soft. I could see you lying on a bed of satin.
Such things you say.
A man in bed. And then put out the light.
Now, this for me is a vampire movie. Like, for me, will be forever synonymous to the holiday, and a legit good movie. Interview with the Vampire is a gothic horror and vampire novel by American author Anne Rice, published in 1976. It was her debut album based on a short story Rice wrote around 1968. The novel centers on vampire Louis de Pont, who tells the story of his life to a reporter. Rice composed the novel shortly after the death of her young daughter Michelle, who served as an inspiration for a child vampire character, Claudia. Though initially the subject of mixed critical reception, the book was followed by many widely popular sequels, collectively known as the Vampire Chronicles, and film adaptation was released in 1994, starring Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise. I don't care what people say. I know people were like, oh, he looks a little funny blonde. I think he embodied that character to the T, and the novel has been adapted as a comic 3 times. It is the vampire movie.
Wait. Take your receipts, taste pure things. Kill them swiftly if you will. But do it! For do not doubt! You are a killer, Louis!
That's my favorite scene.
It's a coffin.
Well, so it is. You must be dead.
I'm not dead, am I?
No.
Oh my
Yes.
god.
You finished this, you finished! You're a vampire who never knew what life was until it ran out in a red gush over your lips. I can't stand this any longer.
You made us what we are, didn't you?
God kills indiscriminately, and so shall we.
Next up, Bram Stoker's Dracula, 1992 film. I was enamored when it first came out. Just the trailer in itself, and then the incredible cast and director. Bram Stoker's Dracula is a 1992 American gothic horror film that directed and produced by Francis Ford Coppola, based on the 1897 novel Dracula by Bram Stoker. It stars Gary Oldman, you already know, and as Count Dracula, Winona Ryder as Mina Harker. Mina. If you've seen the film, you know what that reference is. Anthony Hopkins as Professor Abram Van Helsing, and Keanu Reeves as Jonathan Harker. Dracula was theatrically released in the United States on November 13th, 1992. to positive reviews. Plot in 1462, Vlad Dracula returns from a victory against the Turks to find his wife Isabetta committed suicide after his enemies falsely reported his death. The priest tells him that his wife's soul is damned to hell for committing suicide. Enraged, Dracula desecrates the chapel and renounces God, declaring he will rise from the grave to avenge Elisabetta. And we see, again, it's very much a love story, but then very gory as all hell. And it has moments that it's like, this was one of the classic scenes.
Please, I don't care. Make me.
You'll be cursed as I am to walk in the shadow of death for all eternity. I love you too much to continue. Take me away from all this death.
I love this scene. I can't tell you how much I love this scene as a kid. And when I think of vampire movies, this is a top contender. Top contender.
The war itself had become more perilous. The weapons had evolved. But our orders remained the same. Hunt them down and kill them off, one by one.
Now this sounds familiar.
They are the immortal damned.
This is Underworld from 2003. Remember when I made mention in my other review for you, and that we hadn't necessarily seen Scott Speedman, who played Michael Corvin, since Underworld. I mean, I haven't. I mean, I'm sure maybe he's been doing indie stuff, but he stands out for me because he was just so known for that character in Underworld. So Underworld is a 2003 action horror film directed by Lee Weisman and written by Danny McBride, based on the story of Kevin Grevaux. Weisman and McBride wrote the original screenplay. For generations, a secret war was raged between vampires and lichens, and I didn't even know what lichens was until I saw this movie, and I was like, werewolf, okay. An ancient species of werewolf. After years of fighting between the two enemy races, the vampires have seemingly